Now, breaking news from KXAN News.
At breaking news right now at Austin City Hall.
City Manager Mark Ott about to speak about the Austin Police Department's use of force in the wake of a deadly officer-involved shooting.
Is everyone ready? Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Mark Ott, City Manager of Austin. I want to begin today by extending my condolences to the family of Larry Eugene Jackson. The loss of life, regardless of the circumstances, is always saddening. And when it involves our police force, it's obviously something that we take very seriously. While DOJ has done a thorough evaluation and made recommendations on APD policies and procedures, I'd like them to evaluate our practices to ensure that our actions are consistent with those policies. I've asked Deputy City Manager Chief Mike McDonald to reach out to the U.S. Department of Justice on this very issue. At the same time, I've asked the Department of Justice to provide access to their Community Relations Service. It's clear to me that we need to have a broader dialogue around APD's use of force issues, and we'll be talking to them about the best course of action to do that. I want to be clear, and let me state that again, I want to be clear that this does not signal any lack of faith in Chief Acevedo, his leadership team, or the men and women of the Austin Police Department. I simply feel that we need an objective set of eyes to come in and help us deal with this issue. Now, I can assure you that this will have my personal attention, and I will continue to make it a priority for me and my team in the coming weeks and months ahead. Now, I'm happy to take a few questions, but as you know, this recent officer-involved shooting is currently under active investigation, so there's very little that I can say about that.
What made you guys want to contact the Department of Justice? What told you guys we have to do this?
Well, you know, I think I've already said that. The Department of Justice, as I indicated earlier, has spent some time here looking at the city's policies and procedures. They provided well over 160 recommendations, I think most of which have been implemented under the chief's leadership. This is some time later, and what we are attempting to do here through this request and invitation is to make sure that our tactical practices are in alignment with those policies and procedures and consistent with best policing practices in the nation.
The DOJ just got done with an investigation, I believe, in 2011. Is there something that's happened here in the last 2 years that makes you think that another look is warranted? Anything in particular worrisome about the last 2 years?
Again, when I look back on officer-involved shootings just during my tenure, it occurs to me, and given all the work that they did, that this would be, a good time to have them come back. And this is different, mind you. And again, it's important to note the difference here. We're talking about a look at, our tactics in relation to policies and procedures that they were very helpful in working with us on before. And as I said, under the chief's leadership, many of those have been put in place. This is an opportunity to check to make sure our practices from a tactical standpoint are in alignment with those policies and procedures. And I think that makes a lot of sense.
Can you elaborate on specific?
Why are you using the word issue?
You have to put your question.
I'd like them to come here and look at this issue. Why are we using the word issue?
Well, the issue is referring to what I just characterized a moment ago.
Well, every time there's a shooting, we get an explanation of why there was a shooting, but they seem to be fairly consistent. So why is it?
My request is not disconnected to officer-involved shootings. Again, and the issue is, the question, the invitation to DOJ is to ask them to take a look at the alignment between, again, our tactical practices and our policies and procedures within APD.
When will we know when they're down here? Will they receive this invitation and agree to come?
Well, we've sent them a letter. And I guess the when part is the hard part because I don't know. I'm not in control of that. We make our request at the regional office, and obviously DOJ is a large organization, and just like this large organization, you have to send things up through the pipeline to get a decision, and that will take some time. I'm sure that they will give it, our request, their immediate attention. We hope we get a response in the very near future to both our requests. That is, the look on the tactical side relative to our policies and procedures, and also on the community relations side that we're asking about as well.
How can you be supportive of the chief, but at the same time reach out for an external party to come in to help review, the chief's leadership?
Well, you're characterizing as reviewing the chief's leadership. I'm characterizing it as I've characterized it, an opportunity to make sure that we're in alignment. I trust I need not to remind you that, our objectives here, both mine and council, is to have Austin be one of the most livable cities in the country, and to be known and recognized as one of the best managed. Those are ideals that we strive for every day, and I believe that this request is consistent with both of those things. And we strive to pursue those things in everything we do, and this is no different from that.
When we talk about community relations, where do you think APD has failed?
I didn't say failed. I didn't say that. I think what they do in this case is they come in, and they're an objective party. They're not part of the city's organization, and I think they go out and in an objective manner. They meet with community leaders. I don't know all of the forms they may use to do that, to try to get a sense of what that relationship is like between the city, the community, and its law enforcement agency, to assess if there's tension, what's the source of that tension. But at the end of the day, I think the outcome is they share, and we have the benefit of that conversation that they've had and what they learned in our city and our community.
Why ask the Justice Department to intervene now and not wait until the investigation?
Because the investigation, I think, is on its own track, as these kinds of things always are. Police departments, APD, has policies and procedures by which they undertake this kind of investigation, and that's what they're doing. And I think that is, in that context, separate from the request that I'm making. And there's a good chance that they may be done before all of what we're requesting from APD, from DOJ, is accomplished.
Chief Manley, does your request include any investigation into any possible civil rights violation in the Jackson shooting?
No, it does not. I have not specifically asked for that. No.
We have time for one more.
Chief Manley.
You can have Chief Manley afterwards, but right now I want you to address your questions to me.
I understand Aceveto's out of town on a personal matter, but has he been involved with this process?
We have been in communications with Chief Acevedo. I have. Deputy City Manager McDonald has, all of us standing here has, and certainly Acting Chief Manley has been in contact with Chief Acevedo, yes.
What did he say when you reached out to him?
Well, about this well, I'm going to let him speak to that after all. I would tell you that he's supportive, but let Chief Manley speak to that.
Good afternoon.
I can tell you from speaking with the chief and representing the department right now, we welcome the review by the DOJ. We are always looking to ensure that our policies, practices, and training reflect the best that law enforcement has to offer. The DOJ came in 2007 and conducted a review of our department. We worked collaboratively with them through that review. They made numerous suggestions for policy improvements. They did not mandate any of those. However, we chose to implement most of their recommendations. And since that review concluded in 2011, we have continued to update our policies, our training, and our practices. We are an organization that welcomes the opportunity to improve ourselves, and the review by the DOJ, if they find any areas where we can improve, will only allow us to become a better agency and serve our community better.
So again, what was the chief's response when you first talked to him about this? Was he surprised in any way?
As I stated, the chief welcomed the review, and again, we're always looking for opportunities to improve ourselves.
Thank you all very much.